Hey guys, JetSimi here, and welcome back to another tutorial in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We're back into the Cessna 152, leading on from our previous startup tutorial. Now, we are going to do a real quick thing before we go. Now, you could do this prior to coming into the game, or just do it in the game. And that's your weight and balance. You want to make sure that you have the correct weight, because as you can see, the Cessna 152 can only take 1,670 pounds. With what I weigh and the actual aircraft weighs, it's already 1,527. So you can't really take another pilot unless they're really, really light. So make sure you have that set up, otherwise you're going to have a little bit of problems when taking off. You always do that, obviously, before flights. So anyways, let's get to it. Again, using the checklist that we had in the from Bassair, the description will have the link down in the description there. We'll move on to our taxi and takeoff procedures. So the first thing is, so we've done our after start. Now we need the taxi checklist. So flight instruments checked, and the brakes need to be checked as well. And we'll go ahead and taxi out to the runway. I've already checked the runway. It's runway 10 left. If you need to check the runway 10 left, you go to ATC, and you'll find your what you need to do for the altimeter, which I am doing right now, and the runway that you'll be using. I have a feeling it is 128. There we go. 3028, which is about right. There we go. Right, so without further ado, we're going to get ready to head out. So taxi lights on, brakes off and checked. So the aircraft should start moving under its own steam, but that's good. So we're going to go. I've got the truck IR working this time. So we'll just check the wings, check no one's out there, we're good to keep going. Taxi lights on, and slowly move the aircraft out. And just lean the aircraft out just a tad. Once the aircraft's going, just bring it back down to 1,000. Now you can ask ATC for your permission to taxi out. I normally use VATSIM, so I'll be asking them, or CTAF, and I'll be telling everybody else to do it. But for today, we'll just do it this way. Now it looks like there is an aircraft going out in front of us. I do have live traffic on. I really hope he's not stuck behind that car. I think the car's going the other way. I don't know, the car might be coming this way, and that guy just went through him. Cars shouldn't be on the road, on the taxiway. It should be off to the side. Now when taxiing, just make sure you position your body over the top of the taxi line, and you'll be like center, pretty much centered down the middle of the line. Your nose wheel should be on top. A little bit weird because you feel like you're off to the side, but it's alright. Very busy airport at the moment. Alright, so this runway has got a big yellow X on it. That means it is not usable anymore. It's permanently closed down, if you didn't know that. So we'll just go ahead and taxi across it as if it was just another taxiway. That car stopped to ask permission to go across, but that's okay. But we do have another one coming up here that is a semi-active runway. So we'll go ahead and turn our landing and strobes on now. Car just disappear off the face of the planet. But we're going across the runway. What we'll do is we'll pull up just before we hit the runway and we'll do our magneto check. Not every aircraft need to do the magneto check. The Cessnas do, and some of the other ones that have the magneto key, like this one down here. So if you ever have this sort of option down there, that's a magneto, so you'll have to do magneto checks for most of those type of aircraft. That's not too bad. The knob at the front is also functional. It's not normally functional in other sims. Right, so we're at the end of the runway. We'll go ahead and turn. We'll do a wide turn around here, so we can face back the other way before we hit the runway. Alright, go ahead and put our brakes on. So I'm just going to push down on it, and we'll do our magneto check. So we'll check flight controls as well. Full out. That's all good. We'll run it up to 1700. So again, this is coming off the checklist that will be in the description. That's from my flight school. Just drop it back down. I got a bit of a fiddly throttle. Alright, so what we're doing is just checking the right magneto. So we're going to drop it there. It's at 1800, it should be at 1700, but you can do it at 1800 as well. Alright, check the right. Yep. Check the carburetor heat, so pull it all on hot, and we're checking for a drop. Cool. Let's drop it to idle, see if it goes down and idles properly. Under 3,000 feet, we need full mixture on this aircraft too. Right. Alright, we're good to go. So, we don't need flaps. We got our nav lights and all that sort of stuff sorted. So we don't need flaps for this aircraft. We can, if you wish, to have flaps. Alright, so we've just asked for permission to take off. Make sure our trim is in the takeoff position as well before we go on the runway. So, in this aircraft, it looks like a little knob, as you can see it just there, coming out. So just make sure that's around the takeoff. Other aircraft, like the 172, will just have a line with a T/O on it, and you just need to match it up there. Other aircraft will have something completely different again, so just make sure you know what that is. Right. Position yourself over the dotted lines, and when we're taxiing down here, or running up our aircraft, you want to try and keep on the center line as possible. This aircraft has a takeoff speed of 155, 156, and the climb is about 69, 69.72. Okay, so we'll go ahead and give it some throttle, brakes on. Brakes off, and very touchy aircraft. Keep it down the center line. If you have a yoke, ooh, sheesh, very bad takeoff. All right, let's pull up. Yeah, it's very touchy, this aircraft, so be very mindful of it. All right, so once you're up in the air, go ahead and give it a nice pull up. And get it to its climbing speed. So climbing speed is around about 72 or 75 knots, and go ahead and trim out the aircraft. Now, trimming out the aircraft is the elevator trim, which will hold the speed on climb, and I also hold the altitude on climb. So looking back as well, we're on the runway center line still, taking off a little bit high, and there we have it. So we're all trimmed out and we're still climbing, and we're still on somewhat on the runway there. So that's how you taxi and take off. The next lesson we'll be doing is straight and level flight and trimming at the aircraft, so you understand the characteristics of the aircraft that you're flying and how to go about it. Okay, until then guys, see you later.